The second method for wastewater testing is determination of biochemical oxygen demand or wastewater sample. The aim of this practical is to determine the amount of biochemical oxygen demand exerted by given sample. The principle of this practical is the biochemical oxygen demand (BOD) of sewage or of polluted water is amount of oxygen required for biological decomposition of dissolved organic matter to occur under aerobic conditions, aerobic conditions and at the standardized time and temperature. Usually, the time taken is as 5 days and temperature 20 degrees Celsius as per global standard. The BOD test is among the most important method in sanitary analysis to determine the polluting power or strength of sewage, industrial waste, or polluted water. It serves as a measure of amount of clean diluting water required for successful disposal of sewage by dilution. The test has its widest application in measuring waste loading to treatment plants and in evaluating the efficiency of such treatment systems. The test consists in taking the given sample is suitable concentrations in diluted water in BOD bottles. 2 bottles are taken for each concentration and 3 concentrations are used for each sample. One set of bottle is incubated in BOD incubator for 5 days at 20 degrees Celsius and dissolved oxygen initial content D1 in other set of bottles will be determined immediately. At the end of 5 days, the dissolved oxygen content D2 in incubated set bottle is determined by D1 minus D2 over P, where P is decimal fraction of sample used, D1 is dissolved oxygen of diluted sample immediately after preparation, D2 dissolved oxygen of diluted sample at the end of 5 days incubation. Among the 3 values of BOD obtained for a sample selected, dilution showing the residual dissolved oxygen of at least 1 milligram per liter and a depletion of at least 2 milligram per liter. If 2 or more dilutions are showing the same condition, select the BOD value obtained by that dilution in which maximum dissolved oxygen depletion is obtained. Apparatus are BOD bottles, 300 milliliter capacity, BOD incubator, burette, pipette, air compressor, measuring cylinder, etc. Analytical apparatus of BOD is this. Reagents used are distilled water, phosphate buffer solution, magnesium sulfate solution, calcium chloride solution, ferric chloride solution, acid and alkali solution, seeding, sodium sulfide solution, etc. And the procedure of this practical is place the desired volume of distilled water in 5-liter flask. Usually about 3 liters of distilled water will be needed for each sample. Add 1 milliliter each of phosphate buffer, magnesium sulfate solution, calcium chloride solution, and ferric chloride solution for every liter of distilled water. Seed the sample with 1 to 2 milliliter of settled domestic sewage. Saturate the dilution water in flask by aerating with a supply of clean compressed air for at least 30 minutes. Highly alkaline or acidic samples should be neutralized to pH 7. Destroy the chlorine residual in sample by keeping the sample exposed to air for 1 to 2 hours or by adding a few milliliter of sodium sulfide solution. Take the sample in required concentrations. The following concentrations are suggested. Strong industrial weight 0.1, 0.5 and 1%. Raw settled sewage 1, 2.5 and 5%. Oxidized effluents 5, 12.5 and 25%. And polluted river water 25, 50 and 100%. Add the required quantity of sample. Calculate for 650 milliliter dilution water the required quantity of sample for particular concentration into a 1000 milliliter measuring cylinder. Add the dilution water up to 650 milliliter mark. Mix the contents in measuring cylinder and add the solution into 2 BOD bottles, one for incubation and other for determination of initial dissolved oxygen in mixture. Prepare in same manner for other concentrations and for all other samples. Lastly, fill the dilution water alone into 2 BOD bottles. Keep one for incubation and other for determination of initial dissolved oxygen. Place the set of bottles to be incubated in BOD incubator for 5 days at 20 degrees Celsius and care should be taken to maintain the water over bottles throughout the period of incubation. Determine the initial dissolved oxygen content in other set of bottles and note down the results. Determine the dissolved oxygen content in incubated bottles at the end of 5 days and note down the result. Calculate the BOD of given sample. Note, the procedure of determining the dissolved oxygen content is same as described in experiment under determination of dissolved oxygen. Observations are concentration, dissolved oxygen content, and BOD, milligram per liter. And it's solved for by given formula d1 by d2 over p. And the final result of BOD testing is 27 milligram per liter. And thank you so much. That's all from my side.